Welcome to Live at 5, Jools. I was just saying that I saw you guys do that tune on Letterman, and it continually amazes me how that band is able to just keep up with whoever.
I know. It must be the hardest job in the world, I think, trying to hit somebody's song this week. Now you've got to do this, you know, and now this song.
Did you have to rehearse a long time over there, or?
Well, with the Letterman thing, it was the Glenn, who was singing that, just came and did it with the band, and they just got a tape of it and they worked it out.
Oh, well, it was just wonderful. Who else is at Madison Square Garden with you tonight?
A group called the Silencers. Sadly not Diane Shaw, who I was seeing on this programme earlier, who I shall go and see tomorrow night.
All right.
I thought she was very good.
Oh, she's wonderful. She's wonderful. There is this feeling out there in the music land that Squeeze is one huge success waiting to happen. You know, they're always talking about the potential of the group. Do you think this album is going to do it for you?
Well, I think so. It's strange because, you see, Squeeze have, for a long time, we've had quite a big following live concerts in America, and our records have sold steadily. But this is, unbelievably to us, our first actual hit single that we're having, thanks to all of you viewers out there running out and buying it. And it is quite odd, really. I mean, I think we're not particularly well suited to fame. I think that's where, you know, for instance, if you go to some people's gigs, like there's a lot of roped-off areas and special tents that you go in, and we always get confused and end up on the wrong side of the ropes.
I see. Well, there is the feeling that in past records that somehow the record didn't pick up the good times that you had in performance. And I mean, how does one do that?
It is very hard. I mean, for instance, and it's when we play live, I think that's when we're at our best. I mean, it was surprising as well when I got to Madison Square Garden to find that it was neither a garden or also it wasn't round either. It's completely square.
Yeah.
And it's little surprises like that that perk you up when you're playing on stage. You know, it's that sort of constant surprise. That's what we're about, I think. Steve.
It's one thing to live up to your own expectations, which this group, you know, has certainly tried hard over the last 10 years to do. But living up to others is tricky.
Yes, I think it's very difficult for the two songwriters who have often been compared to Lennon and McCartney or and Gilbert and Sullivan.
Let's mention their names.
Yes, yes, Difford and Tilbury.
Yes.
And there I am comparing them again.
Yes.
Or, you know, I don't know, what great sort of songwriting teams. So that everybody expects any song that they write must be an all-time great standard. And in many ways they are, and I think that the old records that we made maybe 5 years ago are now people sort of taking them as standard songs that people occasionally play in bars. But I think this record that we've made now is the first one where every song on it is accessible, and people who maybe haven't even heard of the group before or aren't too familiar with our records, they can listen to this record and pick up on it fairly immediately. Did
things go smoothly in making this album? Or did you get in the studio and it just happened right away?
Well, no, and it never does with us. There's always a bit of messing about, and we think we've got it all done, and then we have to start again, or somebody will wipe a tape or something. And with this particular one, we stopped halfway through because we thought it would be done ever so quickly, as all groups do. They always think it's going to be done in a certain time, and it always takes much longer. And we had to stop, and that's when we came here last summer and toured around the colleges, because that was booked in, so we had to stop to do that, and then we went back and one thing. But eventually it got done. The one exciting thing was that we did record one track with an orchestra completely live, which not many people do these days. Normally the orchestra add on their part after everybody's recorded. We're hearing more and more
of folks going back to the old way of doing it. One of the things that I neglected to mention was that you were a big TV star in England. In the middle of Squeeze's two successes, why would you leave a successful TV show to perform with a group that you've been with before that didn't quite work out maybe the way you wanted it to?
Well, there were two reasons. I mean, I continued, while we were doing the LP, I continued to do the TV show. And it was a music TV show, and one thing I'd always done was perform music. And when we got together, a lot of groups say this, but of us it is absolutely true. There's a certain spontaneity and an excitement that happens when we're all together. Even if we were all laying here asleep, there would be sort of a charisma of excitement and spontaneity about us that we all need one another. And without one another, we're not as good as we are en masse, as a blob.
That's something very special, and I wish you the best of luck. And
quite frightening.
Keep that mood, keep that excitement. Squeeze is at Madison Square Garden tonight, and we thank you for coming by before you perform. Okay, that is Live at 5 for today, for this week. We thank you for watching. Please join us again Monday. Good night.
This has been